When you see Myth and Machine, be prepared to be deeply moved. The narrative and images come together in a powerful way that surprised even those who have been entrenched in this for more than 2 years. And do pay attention to the empathetic and lovely design, which subtly evokes aspects of the human experience during the war. My interim co-director, Casey Stedman, and I would like to personally thank the incredible Wolfsonian staff, every one of whom, in some form, contributed to this evening and this remarkable show. John Mogul, Assistant Director for Research and Academic Programs, curated the exhibition and will briefly introduce his achievement.
I think of it very much as our achievement, and I'd like to reiterate what Sharon has said and acknowledge my colleagues here at the Wolfsonian. I get to be the figurehead and stand up here in front of you, but this show is nothing without the talent and efforts, enormous efforts in many cases, of dozens of people at this museum. I feel extremely fortunate to come here every morning and work with such dedicated people. I want to thank also the Coles Charitable Trust for their generous financial support of the exhibition, and 2 people who made important loans from their personal collections, June Knopf and Mike Robinson. This is an exhibition about the First World War as a cultural event. Its aim is not to tell the history of the war. That's not something that you can really do with the Wolfsonian's collection. Instead, it's about how artists, poster designers, filmmakers, and others who work with visual media made sense of this enormous and catastrophic event. It's about how the works that they created confronted the birth of industrialized mass warfare, and also about how these works mythologized it and sanitized it as well. I'm pretty sure that you'll see things in the galleries upstairs that will move you and that will surprise you. If you do see things that move and surprise you, most of the credit should go to the person whom I'm about to introduce. I've worked at the Wolfsonian a long time now, but I don't feel like I've ever really had the chance to work with Micky Wolfson until I started working on this show. As soon as he discovered that we were going to do an exhibition about the First World War about 2 years ago, Micky sprung into action. It's not as if the Wolfsonian's collection was short of material about the war to begin with, but many of the most exciting and the most unusual things that you'll encounter upstairs were purchased by Micky in the last year or so. Through his efforts and insight, he's made this show immeasurably better, and his vision is very much in evidence in the galleries upstairs. So it's a great honor for me to introduce the Wolfsonian's founder and the chairman of our board of advisors, Mitchell Wolfson, Jr.
I hope you all noticed on the facade of the building tonight, there's a slight change. When the building opened in 1996, I put the 4 flags, 2 of the enemy and 2 of the Allies. Germany and Italy were on one side, and Italy and the Netherlands were on the other. And above it, on top of the building, of course, was our flag, and that of Florida. Today, in 2014, there are no enemies. There are only belligerents, and the world took part. Also on the building, replacing the flags, are the flags of the European Union. At the 11th hour, on the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, Europe went silent. After more than 1,000 years of resounding leadership. And from that debris rose a phoenix, uncertain and unprepared. It rose from the ruins of a dismembered and devastated continent. The United States of America, as heir to the fallen empires of enlightenment, now on the way to becoming the dominant star in the constellation of international authority and power. Europe abdicated, and America reluctantly took up the burden. History was remodeled in the American fashion until today. Now, united Europe was able to reinvent and reposition herself in the galaxy of nations. Here was the moment to ennoble the American experience by accepting the legacy of Europe and in continuing to maintain, through material and spiritual aid, and within our own country, through greater access to education, knowledge, and the arts. And thus we accepted the responsibility and have continued to do our duty both for our own people and for the world. The Wolfsonian, dedicated to the veterans of all wars, is an instrument, an agent in determining the success of the responsibility both civically and academically. Its goal is to maintain faith in the United States as a driving force for good and as a symbol of American engagement through participation in the learning process. This is a great moment to acknowledge Florida International University and her commitment and the staff's talent and willingness to honor our past and present and to go with hope into a positive future. Thank you all, each and every one, for participating in this mission.